Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Kurt Leavins. Welcome, Kurt.
Well, I'm not sure how faithful I am after that display. I'll take the 2 points. But holy wow.
That was a show. That was a barn burner.
Oh,
That was a crazy game. That was a game Montreal probably should have won. It was a discombobulating, up and down, crazy game.
my lead line for my game grades tonight at the Cult of Hockey is Edmonton Oilers stormed back to win 6-5 game they had seemingly thrown away.
Exactly. Kurt, the grade A shots in the game, Montreal had 20 and the Oilers had 18. The subset of 5 alarm shots, the Oilers had 12 and Montreal had 8. So the expected goals were 6 for Montreal and 4.8 for Edmonton. So on average, Montreal had slightly more chances to score here, I guess.
And I'd say for 50 minutes of the game tonight, Montreal was the better team and it wasn't close.
Yeah, they just dominated much of this game, man. They were what a skilled team, what a fast, skilled, determined team. That was it reminded me of kind of a previous meeting of the Montreal Canadiens and the Edmonton Oilers, but it was reversed. Remember in the early 80s when the young Oilers took on the older championship kind of hab teams, and the Oilers beat them in the playoffs just with speed and youthful exuberance. And that's what this game reminded me of. The Habs were very impressive. What an enjoyable team to watch. What an exciting brand of hockey and incredible skill on that Montreal team. Good for them. They've got a future, that team.
But they and their goaltender, who ain't going to make Team Canada with that performance, and a real smelly call by the referee, cost them the game.
Well, so we're talking about the penalty in the third, of course.
The second power play.
What was the penalty?
It was an unsportsmanlike call, and it was after the previous power play goal. Anderson turns and looks at the referee and taps his stick on the ice as if to say congratulations.
So that's
that was it. And the referee gives him 2. It's a terrible call. If you really don't like the player showing you up, fine, give him 10. But when you give him 2, now you've made yourself and your own ego a part of the game. And hey, I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan. I wanted the Oilers to win this game. But if I'm Montreal, I'm furious with that call. Yeah, yes, it's poor sportsmanship and a brain fart by Anderson. Absolutely. But you don't give a team a 2-minute misconduct for that. You give the guy 10 and he hits the showers for the night, right? I got to say, I felt bad for Montreal. I didn't feel bad for that player. I mean, it was a stupid move, and he cost his team the game with it. But that's not the right call by the officials.
It's like his first day on Twitter and someone says something mean to him and he's offended. You're like, this is life, right? Like, get used to it. You know what? And the weird thing is, like, there was a video earlier today of a player for Chicago. I think his name's defenseman Sam Renzel getting run into the boards, no penalty. And tonight we just saw all kinds of ticky-tack stick fouls in this penalty as well. And, they're just so inconsistent. They call these ticky-tack stick fouls, and then someone gets run into the boards from behind, like Renzel, and it's not even a penalty. So
yeah.
Kurt, 2 good things, 2 bad things, 2 numbers. We'll go with 2 good things each because it was such an exciting game. What's your first good thing?
Well, let's talk about the winning goal, shall we? A few really good plays on this sequence. The first one I'll mention is Jake Wallman, who was the Oilers' best defenseman by a country mile tonight. It wasn't even close, and Jake Wallman isn't at 100% yet. But really nice play at the point to keep the puck alive and throw the puck deep again. The goal doesn't get scored without him. Wallman had a really good game. Puck goes deep into the corner. Darnell Nurse gets the puck in the corner, threads the pass through traffic into the slot. really great pass. Darnell Nurse had a rough night, but that was a nice play. And then Vasily Podkolzin, who was named the game's first star tonight, even though Podkolzin had a rough start to the game along with the rest of his teammates. But it was a great play in front because he first got position on the defender in front of the net, received the pass, and then backhanded it high glove side for the 6-5 winner. Great awareness of where he was in front of the net, great use of his size to protect the puck, and those hands that we've seen from Vasily Podkolzin from time to time show up there with the game winner. Walman, Nurse, and Podkolzin. None of the three had perfect games tonight, but they were really good when it counted the most, and that was on the game-winning goal.
I also like Matt Savoy on the play. He won the puck in the corner, and then I think again and put it back. He got it going with a nice play on the on the board. So nice play by Matt Savoy there, and what a great pass from Nurse. I mean, he made also a really great pass earlier for a goal by Mangiapane. Passed it out from the corner. And he had a rough game. We're going to talk about that, but he made two really great passes. This is the Darnell Nurse we have to see. There's got to be some stuff on the plus side of the ledger, you know? He was always high event, right? That's how he was always described. I remember a million times Bruce and I said high event.
And that was him tonight, man.
But always more good than bad.
Yeah.
And the Darnell Nurse we've been seeing lately has been much more bad than good. But tonight, it was one of these high event games where there was a couple really good things too. So good for him. Much needed. My first good thing will be the Adam Henrique goal. It's the Oilers' second goal. It puts them up 2-1. And there's some really good play on this. On this goal. Savoy wins a battle, I think, to get this going. And it's passed around the point between three players, Ekholm, Ike Howard, and Walman. When he gets the pass, Walman, he makes a great move. He just goes to the middle of the ice. He's so mobile and smart, Jake Walman, and he puts it on net. And who's there? Adam Henrique, who I've been criticizing all year long as being a step too slow. I thought tonight was like he had a good game last game. He had an even better game tonight.
Agreed.
He was really good tonight. And he looked like a real NHL player. In his 1,001st NHL game, he looked really good. And he tipped that in for a beautiful goal. And, it's those kinds of goals. I call them the Californians, after Brent Burns and Joe Pavelski, those tipped in shots. They are unnerving goals for the other team. They are backbreakers. I've always felt this way, and I think it was tonight as well, because Montreal was just dominating that game. And the Oilers were able to score the next one as well before coming back in the game. But it's great to see teams the Oilers manufacture that kind of goals. It's a real NHL goal, and it's the kind of goals that good teams manufacture all the time. And the Oilers I think it was probably their first goal or maybe second goal like that all year long. So good for them.
When you think about it, Jake Walman has had an immediate impact on both games since he's been back.
Yeah.
Right, 2 wins. Among his many skills, he has such great lateral mobility. Man, it's he reminds me a little bit in this one way of the lateral ability that Bobby Orr had, because Bobby could just go left and right without seemingly stopping in between. Walman does the same thing. He's almost like a player in a video game where he just bounces back and forth and he never really stops. And Henrique on that play, that's a really high-end deflection, man. Like, it's even the goaltender kind of threw his shoulders down after it went past him. It was like one of those 12-6 curveballs that you see in baseball, started at the top and ended up in the dirt. Just a terrific example of eye-hand coordination by Adam Henrique.
Walman's such a character. That, what do they call it? Selly or Chelly celebration after his goal, where he bobbed his head around. It was hilarious.
He's got game, man. I like him.
That was hilarious. He's really improved the team. Like, it really, really needed him in the lineup.
It's like someone switched on a light switch, right? As soon as he showed up, like, he has had an immediate impact in a big way.
Well, no surprise, Kurt, that they scored 6 goals tonight with him in the lineup, because he's just a good puck moving defenseman, and he gets them out of a lot of trouble. He's kind of stepped up. Like Ekholm had a pretty rough game too, I thought, and he kind of stepped up as the Oilers' best defenseman tonight. They needed someone to do it because the other big three certainly were not.
True.
All right, your second good thing, Kurt.
My second thing is Calvin Pickard. Calvin Pickard did allow 5 goals tonight. He stopped 22 out of 27 shots. But I think you can easily make the argument that this game is over in the first period without him, right? Like the first period ended 1-1. I told my wife when I went upstairs after the first period, I said, it should be 4-1. And Calvin Pickard standing on his head. The Oilers are flat. The Canadiens are skating circles around them. This isn't even a game. And as I told you before we started the podcast, I told my wife, I'm going to be writing a loss at the end of the night. Well, I was wrong, and I'm glad that I was. But Calvin Pickard was a huge reason for this. I only put any blame on him at all on the 5th out of the 5 goals, and even that one. Cole Caulfield had all kinds of time to pick his spot. Would you like a save there? Yeah, sure, that's fair. But Kulak was down, hadn't fronted him particularly well, and Caulfield could just pick his spot and fire it home. That's a goal scorer's goal. So, but with the saves that Pickard made in the first period, there was those 2 early ones off Evans and Suzuki. Then a really tough stop off a fine high deflection by Caulfield that, should have gone in, but Pickard managed to get his shoulder on it. He had to stop Caulfield again early in the second period when Caulfield beat Nurse down the far side. It's not very often you see Darnell Nurse lose a foot race, but he did there to Cole Caulfield. Made a stop on Matheson that came at him through coverage. And that wraparound on Suzuki had all but beaten him, but he managed to dart out a pad and stop it. I don't remember exactly what you said the high dangers were, but I counted there were 6 what I would class as high danger saves that Calvin Pickard made tonight.
8 high danger shots, and he let in a couple of them. 3 of the highest danger 5 alarm shots, as I call them, went in. In the first period, there was 9 grade A shots. So like a couple, 2 or 3 goals would have not been unexpected. Yeah. And it was 1-1. It was a miracle after the first period. I couldn't believe it. And then when they got up 3-1, it was totally undeserved.
Completely.
Good plays by the goal scorers, Henrique and Mangiapane.
But it was not a real 3-1 lead. Neither you nor I thought that, right?
Tomasik on the first goal and Mangiapane on the next one, but it was just like it fell on their lap. And it happens. The Oilers have lost games like this where their goalie, where they've had all kinds of shots on the other team, I should say, and should be up 2 or 3 goals, and they're just not up by that because they've been stoned by the goalie. So it's nice to see it go the other way. So in the end, he did allow in a lot of goals, but I thought he had a good game, like a 7. What did you give him?
I gave him a 6.
All right, 6 is fine too.
Because he allowed 5 goals.
He did. Yeah, he was 1 goal better than what you'd expect in this game, but that was the key goal.
Yeah, there are 3 players that I gave 7s to tonight: McDavid, Wallman, and Henrique.
All right, I'm just looking what my second good thing. There was so much happening here. Okay, my good thing, Kurt, were the 2 power play goals in the third period. Great to see that power play. There were some really nice plays on the first power play goals, just before it was scored by Bouchard and Nugent Hopkins at the blue line. A little bit of a difficult interchange under pressure to keep the puck in their own end. Some quick passing, and then it went down low to McDavid, and he popped it out to Draisaitl to score. But I really like that work between the Nuge and Bouch. They often aren't in the kind of the assist category because they're the 4th or the 5th guy to touch the puck on the power play. But their deft passing often is what kicks it all off. McDavid's pass and Draisaitl's finish were outstanding. And then the next goal was just crazy because they just essentially skate right up the ice, charge up the ice, McDavid and Nugent Hopkins, slice right through them, and Nuge puts it in. I will note, though, another subtle play by Bouchard at the blue line where he carefully picked off so as not to get a penalty, provided enough space for McDavid to make the pass over to Nugent Hopkins on the entry. Very good play by Bouchard. He was looking to make it. He was looking to get it right so he wasn't going to get a penalty, but still interfere with the guy, and he pulled that off.
And what a backhand by Nugent Hopkins, right?
Great pass and an even better finish. Nuge just, although I don't know, like, what's the goalie doing? Like, I don't know. He just, it was a great finish, but he just seemed like beat like a rented mule, as Darren Detition used to say. Like,
well, and as you know, they say often a backhand is harder for a goalie to pick up than a forehand shot, right?
So that is, you just never know where it's going to go. It could go anywhere because you can't read it. So fair enough, Kurt. Okay, let's move on to the bad things. Kurt, what is your bad thing?
With the score 3-1 and neither you or I feeling the slightest bit safe about the lead. The Montreal Canadiens very predictably in this game reeled off 3 in a row. The 3-2, the 3-3, and the 4-3 in a minute and 52 seconds. Bing, bang, boom. Lead's gone. The first one, a puck coughed up by Darnell Nurse. The second one, Evan Bouchard turnstile like he wasn't even standing there. And then the 4-3 goal where we describe, Kulak, I think backed in too far, just gave his man too much space. Would have you liked to save there? Yeah, but man, Pickard had been saving their bacon up until that point. When it was 4-3, I thought, okay, they're done. Like, stick a fork in these guys. This was the only hope they had tonight. And imagine my surprise when they roared back and won this thing. Just shows how much I know sometimes. But that was a collapse of which we've seen from this bunch before. But you know what? Lest I be too pissy tonight, it did take a certain amount of resilience to take a punch on the chin like that. 3 goals in a minute and 52 seconds and still come back and win the stinker of a hockey game. So I have to give them credit. They stuck with it. They did some good things late. In the end, in the last 10 minutes, it's clear the Edmonton Oilers were the better team on the ice. But it was the only 10 minutes of the night they were the better team.
Did you call it a stinker of a game?
Yes, I did.
I thought it was.
Oh, it was exciting.
It was pond hockey, right? Like, it was up and down in the end and kind of wild.
But both coaches will be bald after watching the tape of that game. I mean, what a train wreck of a hockey game. Highly entertaining. And it would have been fun to be in the building, right? Because the crowd's going back and forth, feels like a playoff game, lots of emotion in the rink. All that, the theater's great, but the quality of the hockey was just crap. It was just like...
There were a number of errors.
Oh, yeah, by both sides and the officials, all around.
When the Oilers got up 3-1, I just thought, okay, get out of the... There was 6.5 minutes left. I think it was, get out of the period without being scored, and it'll be like a miracle if you can do that. But somehow, can you do that? Can you accomplish that? And it was just like I was laughing when they scored those 3 goals. It was so comical.
Yeah.
Because they just... And then there's another one, and this is my bad thing. I was going to pick earlier in the game, typifying kind of the incredibly kind of brain dead puck management of the Oilers, was a play where the Oilers had been in their own end for like minute and a half. They finally get it out. Vasily Podkolzin has an easy play to get the dump in, but he does at the opposing blue line. He tries a pass across the blue line to a player breaking in, and it's picked off, and they're back, and the defenseman can't get a change. Emerson and Kulak. They've been out there forever, and he makes a mistake like that. I mean, I just think everyone in Edmonton knows hockey, and everyone seeing that play thought, "What are you doing?" But I'm not picking that, Kurt, because there was something worse than this.
Well, let me quickly comment on that, because Podkolzin's one of the last guys you would expect to make that mistake, right?
Isn't that the truth?
He's a very responsible guy. To me, it just shows that when you deprive the brain of oxygen for that long, you're gonna make a mistake.
What was he thinking?
Yeah, not much at that point.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's a very responsible conscientious.
Usually, yeah, he's the last guy expected to do that. I was shocked, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, worse. Okay, the 3 goals are worse than that, but then the 5th goal. It's again, how can the Oilers take so many nothing plays and turn them into goals? Just the puck's rimmed around behind the net. Wallman goes towards to get it, but he doesn't. He comes out back out front. It's how you play the zone in a way. Like you cover the front of the net.
Yeah.
And Darnell Nurse is kind of in front of the net. He's kind of at the side of the net, but he's just watching it as the puck comes behind the net, and he's kind of stationary. And the Montreal player gets it, goes a little wide, gets an angle, and passes it right between Nurse, who's just standing there, and Matt Savoy, who's just standing there. And Ike Howard, who was covering the danger man coming into the slot, but let him go.
Was late, yeah.
Yeah, he let him go. And Savoy didn't shoulder check, and Nurse failed to cover the danger man coming in. It's just a terrible.
He went on a walkabout, right?
Well, he was just standing there in the red light zone, not covering anyone, not covering a passing or shooting lane. When that happens, you're going to get scored on, and he got scored on. And by then, like, people are starting to get super fed up with Darnell Nurse. Like, it's been building for a long time. Fortunately, again, there was a couple nice plays. If he can just make more good plays than bad, Darnell Nurse can help this team. And I guess in the end, he kind of did tonight. What did you give him, Kurt?
I gave him a 4.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. Even though he made 7 major mistakes on grade A shots against Darnell Nurse tonight. It's just endless mistakes on grade A shots. Endless.
Yeah,
endless.
When you get 2 assists, 2 primary assists, and you grade out a 4, you know something else went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Ekholm made 6. And I'm just going to segue to my number right now, Kurt.
Okay.
8. Evan Bouchard made 8 major mistakes. So we have Nurse at 7, Ekholm at 6. And again, in a typical game, a defenseman would make between 1 and 2. Like, that's okay. That's a normal game. You're going to make some mistakes and allow grade A shots. It's a tough position. You're in a position with all kinds of responsibility, and you're going to break down now and then. But 6, 7, or 8, and Bouchard, he was the primary culprit on, I think, 2 goals. The first goal, Ekholm passes it to him. It goes right through his stick in the corner, and then it's turned over that way. And then there's a shot from the point, and he's not covering his man who scores at the side of the net. So, and then, as you say, he got turnstiled on that other goal. So a lot of these were egregious mistakes for all of these defensemen. They were big mistakes. And it's, there's been a lot of talk about what's wrong with the Oilers. And one theory was that the Oilers aren't taking the puck to the middle of the ice. No, they're not going to the net, which I think has a lot of merit. But I also have an alternate theory, is the defense has just been playing like horse crap. Like, they've just been horrible and way worse than last year. Like, they're just getting eaten alive by their own mistakes. And I think I'm going to go with that after tonight's game. I think my theories, they're both good theories, but we're certainly seeing a major collapse of defensive play on the Edmonton Oilers right now. And I don't know why that is, but it's not good.
Well, if you look at the numbers this year, they're actually not a bad defensive club. They're kind of middle of the pack prior to tonight. That's just what the statistics say. I see what you see, David. I'm just saying what the statistics say.
The first 2 games they were really good. So that averaged in. So, and then, but now.
Well, here's my theory with the offense, though. Who's your number one transporter? Who is your number one transporter on the defense pairings?
Well,
Evan Bouchard, right?
Yeah.
And he is off to a horrific start. So if the guy who is usually your best transporter back there is off to a terrible start, it's going to trickle through the rest of your offense. That doesn't mean the other guys don't share the blame. They do. But if you're relying him to get the puck up, and he's struggling to do it. I mean, after 2 periods tonight, scoring chances 5 on 5. With Bouchard on the ice, we're 3, 4, and 9 against. And at the end of the night, Natural Stat Trick had his high dangers 5v5 at 0 and 5.
What were they after 2 periods, Kurt? I didn't understand.
Scoring chances, so not just high dangers, but scoring chances against 5 on 5 were 3 and 9.
We're 3, 4, and 9 against.
We're 3, 4, and 9 against.
Okay.
And at the end of the game, high dangers were 0 and 5.
0-5. Yeah, that's about right. You know, the funny thing is, Kurt, who was out in the last minute protecting that lead?
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I looked at it and I said, "Man, are you sure?" And it's just like hey, on one hand, I salute the coaches. Like,
I
this is
like
our
that.
guy.
He is their guy. He's their
we're
guy.
um,
He's a
but
good player. He's a good player.
normally, yes,
So
he
put him
is
out
normally a
there.
good player.
Put him
Yeah,
out there in this position of responsibility and make amends. And they
make him
didn't get.
feel a little better. I was
Well,
nervous.
in
I
the
got to
game,
admit, right?
I think it was the right call. Like, listen, Emberson's struggling, and who's the other guy? Well, that would be Wallman. So Wallman's not on his strong side at the end of the game. He and Nurse, like I don't know if I'd have him and Nurse out there. You might have Wallman and Ekholm. I guess you could do that. But again, Wallman's not on his strong side at the end of the game. Maybe that's more important than to get it out. I'm not sure.
Well, but Wallman's mostly not going to be on his strong side, right? Because he's paired with Nurse. I mean, I think for
He
all
never is
intents
on
and
the strong side.
purposes, he's a right defenseman, right?
I might have had Wallman out there. He was their best defenseman tonight.
I would
So
have. Yeah, that was my thought. I'm right with you. He is their best defenseman
now
right
that
now.
you mentioned it,
And you know what? The third pairing, to be fair, they're holding their own. Kulak and Emberson. Like Emberson, I agree. He's not doing great, and I think that he gets replaced when someone else
well,
gets healthy.
you
But
know what, Kurt? I'm just running the numbers on him. Kulak made 3 mistakes on grade A shots, including
yeah,
on 1 goal against, at least 1 goal, or actually 2 goals against. He was out of position on no, just 1. No, he made a allowed a shot on the third goal of that big run in the second period, and then he was on the first goal. He was out of position too. So anyway, Kulak didn't have a great game, but Emerson didn't make one mistake on a grade A shot against, according to what my viewing of the game. So he hung in there. So
yeah.
he can. So that's what you want, I guess, a quiet game from Emerson, and it was fairly. Did you give him a 5 or a 6?
I think I graded Emberson a 5. Let me double check here. I gave Kulak a 5. I gave Emberson a 5. Yes.
Okay.
Emberson played 16:44. I think that's his most ice time this season.
Yeah. Well, he did play okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I just saw that pairing, I guess, not that well. Some bad things happened. Although when the 2 goals were scored and Kulak was on the ice, he wasn't partnered with Emberson in the second period. On one, he was with Nurse, and the other one, he was with Ekholm.
Yes.
So there you have that. Yeah. Oh, that's when the first one was where Nurse turned it over, and then Kulak couldn't cut out the pass.
Yeah, and see, I didn't fault Kulak on that. I wondered which one you faulted him on because
Well,
he's going back there to give an outlet pass to Nurse, right? That is the right play. That's where he's supposed to go, and your high forward's supposed to drop into the slot.
Mangiapane was also at fault.
Yes, I faulted him as well.
Yeah, I thought that the Kulak could have cut out the pass. Like if you're allowing the pass into the slot, I just like it's a tough play, but I think you're expected to make it.
I always respect the job you do. I wouldn't have faulted him on that one. Nurse is the guy that coughed up the bit on that.
He
so.
did. I'll have another look. Maybe I was overly harsh on Kulak. Okay. Where are we? Kurt, you did your number. Was your number the Bouchard number?
My number was your number. There were so many numbers on Evan Bouchard tonight. It took 2 of us to deliver them all.
He's having such a terrible year on the front.
Can I say after crapping all over Evan Bouchard tonight, can I say how bad I feel for the kid? I mean, honest to God. I mean, he was such a great player for this club in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He was excellent. Yeah, and we can see the skill this young man has. He's really gifted, and we're damn lucky to have him. But man, is he mired in a horrible slump right now. And I don't know what, except for reps, is going to get him out of it. But right now, that's just...
Yeah, and now Ekholm's play is dropping off too. Like
I agree. Who had started really strong, right? But now it's kind of like he's fallen into the same tar pit as Bouchard.
Yeah, like a night, like just... And you just know as the defenseman out there, like, because the defensemen, they take every grade A shot that they're on the ice for personally. They don't want to be on the ice when the other team's getting great chances.
Nope.
And certainly not goals. They don't want to be on the ice for that. They just feel terrible about it. Like they feel ghastly. and they know, they know. And you're right. I hear you, Kurt. He must not be feeling very good at all. So
all Oilers fans must be cheering that he can figure this out and turn it around, because he's so critical to the club's success, right?
oh, he will. He just needs fire a couple of goals in, and that'll get him going. All right, Kurt. Let's. We had a long night there, so let's maybe leave it there. Thank you.
They say you shouldn't critique a win. I think we managed to change that narrative.
Well, it was one of those wild. That was a weird game.
It was
a great game. I loved it in the end. Kurt, thanks for talking tonight.
Thanks, Dave. It was fun.
And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.